Yeah, I see the. Yo, you muted. Gosh, you muted.
Hold on, bro.
Yeah, I'm back. Peace.
Peace,
Okay.
yeah.
Peace, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you
Yeah,
now,
I'm on the
guys.
George
Absolutely.
Washington. Yeah, I'm on the George Washington Bridge, man. So the reception died and it kicked me out. You know what I mean? You know, but peace to the gods, man. We here, man. Peace.
Yeah, I see the. Yo, Kosh, man, like we always build on the, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, you muted. Gosh, muted.
Me?
Yeah, I'm back. Peace.
All right.
Peace, you hear me?
Yeah. So,
I'm here.
okay, so everything is we always build on the regular about our growth and development, you know what I'm saying, our personal bond that we have with one another. But I want the people to understand like who King Kasim is, you know what I'm saying? We always talk about Nauru, we talk about, you know what I'm saying, brand new, you know what I'm saying, we even talk about invisible men. But today I want to know, like, and the fans want to know, what was your enlightening moment to pick up the mic from the very beginning? What was your first, you know what I'm saying, introduction into hip hop where you fell in love with it?
Wow. Yo, God, like I've been rhyming since like God build and destroy. You know what I mean? Like, I heard, and I'm gonna phrase it just like this is how I always say it. I heard these brothers from New York City telling stories over beats on time, and they would make it rhyming and fascinating. You know, I could bop my head to it. You know what I'm saying? What was the dance? We was Charlie rocking to it. It was before breakdance. And Charlie rock when you get on the floor, spin your leg around and hopping over your leg. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit was so fly to me. You know what I mean? So I would walk around and I'd be trying to rhyme. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even know you were supposed to write them, God. Like I just was going. You know what I'm saying? Using words that I had in my head and putting them together. You know what I'm saying? With the life that I was living, G. And it was two brothers, man. My man Cherokee, rest in peace, Avery Curran, and this brother named Ronnie. And they would be in the hallways beating on the door rhyming or beating on the window rhyming. And I would just stand there and just listen to him. And you know, I got started from there. You know, I didn't even know I was freestyling, G. That's what I thought you were supposed to do. Just make it up and go. You know what I mean? I wrote my first joint when I was knowledge, and I still remember the joint. You know?
Right.
Word.
You know what I mean? That's crazy, you know.
You know?
Hey, so how did having knowledge of self influence, you know what I'm saying, you lyrically? You know what I'm saying?
It stepped my stuff up 1,000-fold, G. Like, you know, like I was already into, you know, being conscious and aware of who we were as a people. You know what I mean? Learning our culture, learning our great ones. You know what I mean? The people that left legacies for us to grow on. The people that was, you know, made us able to stand on their shoulders. You know what I mean? But getting knowledge of self, you know, adding mathematics to it. You know, mathematics is precise. You know, and it breaks everything down to its finest compound. And I'm telling you, like that pinpoint accuracy made my rhymes razor sharp. You know, to the point where some of my people that I used to rock with, it's like, please don't put that 5% stuff in these rhymes, man, because you're taking it somewhere else. You know, like we would rhyme about the girls, the parties, and you know, regular shit. But once I got knowledge, I couldn't do that no more. You know what I mean? I had to take it there every single time, and I grew. You know what I mean? I grew. Like I turned into a giant, G. Like straight up. You know, the knowledge just it opened me up. It opened up the entire universe to me, man. And I was receptive. You know what I mean?
Right. So like when you know what I'm saying, we always talk about the history of the Invisible Men, but when did the Invisible Men start, and how long was that group together before, you know what I'm saying, y'all took a break?
Invisible Men, they was together before I even came home from college. You know what I mean? It was my brother Shaquan and my brother Iquan. And Infinite Thought was always the producer slash DJ, right? And he and Iquan used to produce together. Iquan also MCs, right? Shaquan was the main feature. So when I came home from North Carolina Central, you know what I mean, the guards snatched me up, you know, like, yo, this is what we doing, da 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 da. I got knowledge of self and born knowledge, and you know, they took me right in the group. I left the group I was in, you know what I mean? And they took me to a brand Nubian show that they was opening for. And you know, I'm on the stage. I didn't have anything to spit that day. You know, I didn't even make a song with them. They're like, nah, but you one of us. Put me on the stage. It was brand Nubian, and they used to call themselves That's Them. You know, That's Them. Artifacts before they
Mhm.
changed the name Artifacts. And what solidified me and the crew was after the show, we in the crowd. You know, me, L, Shaquan, Tame, Iquan, Infinite. We in the crowd. Beats is playing, and me and Tame start freestyle. We went hard, you know what I mean? And the respect was given right then and there. And I'm like, shit, I'm hanging with these cats, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, bar for bar, you know, bumping elbows straight up, like it was on, and we did our thing. And to this
Mhm.
day, you know what I mean? Tame showed respect. I love the brother L's good people, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what opened the door. That was like more knowledge, you know what I'm saying? That for me, as far as, you know, 91, as far as, you know, being a part of Invisible Men, that's when that started.
Okay. So during that journey of Invisible Men, um, what did it teach you about the business? You know what I'm saying? What was, you know what I'm saying, that you took away from that experience, and and how beneficial is it for you today?
God, I learned that I still love music, but I hate the industry. I hate what it was doing to us. You know what I mean? I hate how they tried to, you know, to change us and pervert our message. Because the gods we was building, you know, our whole thing was to enlighten the world. You know what I mean? Give Bob Marley a pill to enlighten the whole world. Everything that we was dropping has science in it.
Right.
Our management, you know, they wanted us to put out, you know, Haagen-Dazs first because to them that was the radio joint. And we had a joint called Headaches that we knew was gonna bang. You know what I mean? And we knew it because we performed it, you know, at the EMI showcase. You know what I'm saying? And we killed it. It was ridiculous the reaction to it. Like we had 5 labels bidding over us before we even signed to them cats. Like, and you know, House was one joint produced by Mark Sparks. Shoot, you know, shout out to him. And Headaches was the joint. But they wanted short stuff and Haagen-Dazs, 2 joints that we were shooting, you know, shooting wisdom at the Queens, man. Because they were like, yeah, that's gonna be radio, that's gonna hit, da 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 da. And in my opinion, you know, that's what slowed us down, straight up. And you know, because of the choices management was making, we was getting, you know, dissatisfied with it. And you know, in particular, Shaquan, because he was the piece with Magnetic that brought us all together. You know what I mean? And it got to a point where God didn't want nothing else to do with it because he seen what it was. You know, we did our best, you know, to stay together as a group, but it didn't go the way it was supposed to go. None of us was happy. And at the end of the day, they wanted to still work with me, right? And I'm thinking this is some honest, so I go to a meeting with them. I'm not gonna say their names; they don't even deserve it, you know. And they told me, you know, why don't you cut off your locks, use your deep voice, and rap to the girls like Father MC? And I looked at them like they was crazy. And I was like, that's not what I do. They said, well, we as so and so are no longer in the business of, you know, teaching. So I shook their hands and I bounced and I walked away from it. That was it.
Okay. Okay. So once you departed from the group, and what steps and what part of the entertainment industry did you go into? You know what I mean? Or
I
was you
stayed
still
in
in?
hip hop for a minute, God. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, you know, that's when I got a chance to develop as a solo artist. You
Right.
know, starting to write them 3 verses. You know what I mean? Coming up with all these different hooks, coming up with songs, well-rounded songs, and you know, I saw my growth and development. I got better as an artist, and I had deals on the table here and there, but nothing solidified. You know what I mean? And I got frustrated. By the time I hit understanding at a cipher, 30 years old, man, I was like, yo, I need to do something else. You know, I went out to California, you know, visit my physical, my sister, and she had these poets over the rest. And you know, I got in one of the poets' faces, and I was like, yeah, man, that poetry shit is cool, but y'all need some. I start beatboxing in his face, and he was like, yeah, I used to do that. And I'm like, yo, I don't know you. All the shit I did, I don't understand. He was like, yeah, well, you know, come to some of the shows. You know, I was real arrogant, you know what I'm saying? But nobody, you know, nobody could see me. That's how I saw it. Yo, whatever, you know, I'm gonna go to the shows. So we drive all the way to San Jose, like 2 hours through the rain, right? We get to the theater, and the electricity's out. So I'm like, yeah, what they gonna do? And it looked like everybody in the audience pull a candle out their pocket and lit a candle, lit up the spot. And I'm like, they still ain't got no mics, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got no speakers, you know. I'm like, what they gonna do? These cats start spitting poetry, no mics, no nothing, and murdered it. I mean, literally murdered the joint. I was in awe, God. I couldn't believe what I saw. And it was all socio political, socio-economic. It was all empowerment for the people. And that shit had me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, shit, this is what it's about. Hip hop already went the gangster way. And I'm like listening to this, I'm like, shit, you know, I'm gonna go check some wow. So like a groupie son of man, I went to 9 shows with him. The last joint, the brother said, yo, we're gonna do this joint called The Wickedest Man in Babylon. One of our partners is not here, so why don't you, you know, say one of your raps in a poetry style and get on stage with us? My arrogant ass was like, yeah, I got this, you know. God, I got on the stage, right? My man Talon went. Talon went. I was like, my man Faraji. I said, oh shit. I never got humbled like that, but I needed it. You know what I mean? That night we got back from that show, I wrote 2 poems at my sister's rest. Went back to Now Why in about a week, went to their spot, started doing the poetry. I didn't know no better. I didn't know no different between slam and open mic. Jumped on the slam list because you could do more than 1 poem, do 3 joints. I didn't know that was a competition. And I almost won it. You know, the first 2 rounds I got perfect 30s. The second round I got like a 28.6. And there was this sister named Ruby Selah, and she got a 30, a 30, a 30. The next slam I got in, she beat me again. I'm like, what the hell is this? You know what I'm saying? If y'all know Ruby, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you don't know her, Google the queen. Check her out with her poetry. Check her out with her hip hop. She's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Right, she's incredibly nice, super intelligent, right? So that was what it was for me. And you know, after a while, there wasn't an open mic I couldn't murder. Didn't use no mics because of that first experience. There was not a slam I couldn't win. Next, you know, they sending me to London. You know what I'm saying? I'm selling CDs all crazy. I went a Sprite spoken word night. And next, you know, I'm doing commercials. I'm starting to do independent films. All of this through poetry. I began teaching, you know, full time through poetry. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous. The spoken word opened up all these doors for me. And then in 2006, Jamal reached out to me. He wanted a poem for the 5% album. He's like, yeah, you know, it's this joint, you know, me, you, and Raekwon, you know. I'm like, word? Okay. He said, matter of fact, God, I want you to host the whole album. I like that joint you did, so host the album. He said, listen, this ain't gonna make you rich, but it's gonna put you back in the game, and what you do with it, you do with it. Now, mind you, Jamal, you know, he was like a mentor to us when we was young guys. You know what I'm saying? The God, you know, he's a great dude to us, but he wasn't about throwing presents your way. You got to earn everything with him. You know what I'm saying? You got to show and prove with him. That's how he always was. And you know, he put me on the spot. I came through. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, G, I'm coming to parliaments and shit like that. It's like, yo, Mr. Seven, you know, all God all the time, WGOD. I'm like, yo, you know, the lane was open. Just like he said, the lane was open. So I filled that lane up with living mathematics, man. And, you know, here we go. I'm back in the game. Peace to the God. You know what I'm saying? He put me back on. Real talk.
Yo, it's crazy, you know what I mean? Because like we always talk about living mathematics, you know, that's my song, man.
Yes, sir.
That's when I got back reintroduced to you. You know what I'm saying? When I was like, yo, the God got some more stuff out. You know what I mean? And I didn't know the title. You know what I'm saying? We always laugh about it. I didn't know the title, but I knew the hook. And I could sing the hook. You know what I'm saying? I knew the bars and everything. And I think me and you was building one time. I was like, yo, God, man, that our slam joint is crazy. He was like, that our slam? What are you talking about, guy? And I think I spit a couple of bars from it. He was like, yo, God, that's living mathematics. And And I was like, yeah, God, the joint was crazy. It's still crazy to this day. I listened to it on a consistent because, like I said, that's my joint. It has a lot of jams on there. Then a lot of people need to definitely listen to Return to the God MC, and Living Mathematics. But how did you feel performing these songs on the Apollo? You know what I'm saying, being on the stage with some of the icons of the game, like Kane and Brand Nubian, which, you know what I'm saying, you already have a relationship, which is big up to Brand Nubian, Sadat, you know what I'm saying, Haji, Grandpoo, and Lord Jamal. How did you feel like being on the same venue, same stage, the Apollo, with some of the greats and holding your own? Matter of fact, getting like 2-3 standing ovations? You know what I mean?
God, yeah, God. One, it was a supreme honor. Like I was real humble for that. Like I'm like, yo, this is the biggest. Not only that, it's all the gods that I always listened to my whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the ones that, you know, when we got signed, they got the chance to blow up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even the ones that came after, you know, like God, Roxanne Shante. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, G. You know what I'm saying? Everybody.
Right.
And then there was another part of me, real talk, that said, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. I should have been here. You know what I'm saying? And now here's a chance for everybody to see that I still got this. Because when we first came out, we knew Bus and them. We knew the Woo. We knew all of it. And everybody knew us. They knew it was nice. You know what I mean? Everybody was showing respect and love. And we knew we were solidified in the game, and then the bullshit went down. So for me to get the opportunity to get up there and not be some opening act, you know, to start rhyming when nobody's even in the damn, you know, arena, but to be up there, you know, like an hour deep into the show, somewhere after Kane, you know what I'm saying, during the Now Rules section, because not only Brand Nubian is there, but I'm there too. So now there has to be a Now Rules section, you know, and I'm like, whoa, like that's big. You know, when you look at that, like, yo, you know, we caused that to happen. And then to get to, you know, introduce my brothers, man, you know, it was great. I got an encore. Like I finished my set, they called me back out there to rock again. So I rocked again, and then, you know, called the brothers out. And then they killed the show. They did their numbers. To me, that was beautiful, B. Like, if I never had, you know, the 20 plus years that I might have been looking for, I had that night. You understand what I'm saying? And of course, I had other great nights. We toured, we did all types of shit. I did a lot of shit solo. But that one right there, that's the Apollo. You know what I mean? And it don't get no better than that. It don't get no blacker than that. You know what I'm saying? That was straight original, and I loved it, man. Have Imperial behind me, Wise behind me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the gods was in the building, man, and hip hop belonged to us again. You know what I mean? It was a shame that, you know, Rakim, you know, couldn't make it for whatever reasons, because that would have just put the seal on it. You know what I mean? But we had Bus. You know what I mean? We had CNN. We had Pat Post and Remy. You know what I'm saying? We had, yo, the whole flip mode was in the building. You know what I'm saying? Yo, everybody, G. Everybody, G. I can't even name everybody. Shot Rock. I mean, come on, man. Freedom, CNC, Music Factory. Like, yo, G, everybody was there. Everybody rock. It was beautiful.
I remember,
and for me to be able to bring Rashad's son out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, let my brother get on that stage. You know, come on, man. Like, it felt powerful, God. It was powerful. You know what I mean?
yeah, God, I remember building with you before you went on. You know what I mean? And, you know, and I guess, you know what I'm saying, I've always been like I guess what you call like the hype man, you know what I mean? Because you could feel the butterflies, you know what I'm saying, right before you go out there. But you know what I'm saying, like I always told you, you always been the God MC. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like
sir.
when you touch the mic, it's hard to come behind you. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just, you know what I'm saying, wordplay, it's just the presence alone. And I wanted to kind of touch on some of the things that you do in the community. Like you had talked about school, you know what I'm saying? And how did that open up the doors, you know what I'm saying, the poems? Like, how did you feel about teaching the youth poetry and things of that nature? And what aspect do you feel like helped, you know what I'm saying, guide them through that?
Well, the poetry, you know, teaching poetry, God, was really a great way to administer therapy to inner city youth that don't have a way to express themselves. Because we go through so much trauma from a young age throughout our lives that it becomes normalized to where, you know, your man gets shot and he ain't died, so he good. You don't even worry about it too much. Or your man returned to the essence and you back to doing whatever you're doing in a day or so, because this ain't new. You know what I'm saying? Or you ain't had nothing to eat last night, but it's okay because your homie didn't either. You understand what I'm saying? We're gonna figure out a way to get some food today. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Every day is depressing sometimes in the hood, but when you walk outside, yo, what's good? Everything good. You lie. You throwing a mask every day in front. And what we don't understand is in the hood, we're the greatest actors, B. All of us need cameras and directorial skills because we can make the best movies, B. We actors every day, you know, and that trauma we carry with us, and we don't have an outlet for the most part, which is why you see so much drug abuse, which is why you see so much violence, which is why you see so much self-hatred. Because how can I love myself if every day is fucked up?
Right.
I do my best to make it great, and it ends up fucked up again and again and again, you know? And I got to do all this negative stuff just to have a couple dollars, just to drive something, just to cook something, to have some clean clothes, to buy something fresh. You know, we got to do criminal shit, you know, just to have that, you know? And it feels like somebody got their foot on your neck every day. And then to come into adulthood and recognize where you live, that yes, you're right, you know? Their foot is on your neck every day. You know, you purposefully being disenfranchised. You're being used as the labor force. You batteries that power this society. And when the battery die, they discard your ass. Because we don't have great medical care. They don't want to keep us around. They want to work us and kill us and get the next generation to work them and kill them, you know, and keep it going to enrich them. And, you know, when you realize that, man, somebody got to be there to stand up for these babies, man, and teach them what's going on and show them the way out. You know, at least a way to get that negative out, you know?
Right.
And the poetry did that.
Let me add on to that.
Please, God. Yes, sir.
Now, what you saying all that, my mind goes to this here. Now, we look at the gap between the generations now and the generations back then when we was growing up. And let's look at the science. What do we feel is the best, or what, I'm gonna ask you, what do you feel is the best approach to the youth these days that really don't want to hear the truth of what we speaking as far as what we saw as enlightenments to us, to feed them more, because so much the devil is giving them so much of nothing, they don't want to hear the truth. They turning a blind eye from the truth being spoken. So what can we do as a collective work? Because it takes more than just one. And so if we all tie together on that same plane, somewhere along the line, the light has to shine and beam them on the heads to say, yo, the gods are speaking, they're right. We need to do this. So what do we need to do to talk to the youth today? Because this is the now testament. So I want to hear what you know, what do you feel is your add-on in that aspect?
That's an excellent question, G. And it's just as simple as asking them how they're doing, asking them what they're going through, asking them who they are. You don't tell a motherfucker who he is. You ask him. You show him equality. You want for your brother what you want for yourself, and you don't want nobody to label you. So you don't stand there and label them. Even if what you're getting ready to tell them is something great, you got to find out what make them tick before you start turning them and trying to make, you know, make them tick tock. You can't do that. You know what I mean? You got to respect them, man. They, you know, they're individuals. They are original. They are who they are. And, you know, the first time you label a person, they're going to reject it. And if you continue to label somebody, they might even accept it. And if the label's negative or it don't fit them, it's going to affect them adversely. So the first thing you do is you ask them who they are. You know, we know that a savage is a person who lost the knowledge of self and is living a beast life. You know what I mean? Our people lost the knowledge of self a long, long time ago. So the first thing that you got to do when you're dealing with a beast is you give them a little bit of food. You be nice to them. You speak in nice tones. And they begin to trust you over time. It's like when you meet a dog. You know what I mean? You don't come with your hand up, you come with your hand out. You usually have something in your hand that'll entice them to come, you know, and get that from you. And that's food for thought. You give them baby food. You ask them who they are. You show them some love. And then you offer them a little something that you know that they like. And that little something that you know that they like is a little jewel here and there. Because once they tell you who they are, they start to show you what they need. So you tell them what they need to hear, man. You know, but you don't overload them. Oh, you're the original man, you're the Asiatic black man, you're the maker, you're the owner. You don't give them all that. You don't give them all that. Tell them you're my brother.
Exactly.
And then you show them you're my brother, because love is a verb. You got to do love. You can't just say that shit. You show them love is the highest elevation of understanding. So you show them love. That's what you do with the youth. We walk around fearing the youth, and that's because we don't know how to connect with them. Brothers too busy on their square. Yo, I'm telling you, son, this is what you got to do. That's not what you do. That's not how you teach. You're not a teacher. You're still a student. You know what I mean? If you're doing that, you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
And you're damaging our babies doing
that. Now, to piggyback on that, like to piggyback on that, just recently we just got Juneteenth, right?
Right.
And
right.
which is funny, you know what I'm saying, because they don't want the history of Juneteenth to be taught, nor do they want the history of racism or anything of that nature to be taught. So
right.
we know the duty of a civilized man is to teach. You know what I'm saying? So how can we positively show and prove the meaning of Juneteenth and the effects of it, you know what I'm saying, for us, you know what I'm saying, as a people?
Wow. So first, you know, for those that don't really know what Juneteenth is, you know, 2 years after slavery was abolished, word finally got to Texas that the slaves had been freed, meaning that they stayed in bondage an extra 2 years while everybody else was so-called free, right? So to me, the meaning of Juneteenth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because our people been celebrating it forever anyway. We didn't need the feds to give us Juneteenth as a national holiday. We don't need that as a day off. We've been doing what we do anyway, right? What they should have done, instead of throwing us a bone, was to give us some of that money that they've been giving these other communities in the form of reparations. That's what they should have been doing, right? And of course, we know we're not going to get that. You know, that's going, you know. And as a whole, the majority of our people, we like symbolism. So you give us a day in our name, and all of a sudden, you know, we have overcome. And that's sad and it's scary, you know, because as long as we like trinkets, then we don't want the mind in order to, you know, get a whole cache of the trinkets. As long as, you know, we like a bone, we don't want no meat, you know, and that's why we stay starving. That's why we stay, you know, disempowered. That's why we stay at the bottom of the barrel, because we like symbolic gestures. You know, we like to be happy in music. But we understand that
one thing.
You know, we're talking about freedom. You know what I mean? And what is freedom? You know, but to free the dome, you know, which is the mind. You know, and we got to expand the minds of our people. To
I got a little break up there, but I got you. Definitely got the meaning, you know.
Definitely.
And as long as we keep being fed nothing, we falling for everything. But shit is the time is to wake up, to understand that the crumbs on the table do not feed the masses of what you truly need. We don't need the crumbs on the table. We need the real food. You know what I'm saying? We need the real knowledge of self.
Right, God, we still loving the devil because
it's so crazy. Like, we talk about reparations in the hood, and we like we said, we know that we're not going to get it, but people don't realize the reparations was already given out for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we start really doing the knowledge to it. You know what I'm saying? Reparations was already given. You know what I'm saying? When you do the history of reparations for the Black men in wilderness North America, they gave the slave owners reparations for losing their property. You understand me? And it was so crazy that we talk about like the 40 acres and the mule and the reparations and things of that nature. Sometimes we have to realize, like, if we don't go out here and get it, it ain't gonna manifest itself. You know what I'm saying? Freedom is something that, you know what I'm saying, it's not gonna be given, it's gonna be taken. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be taken, and we have to stand up for that. And there's a song, KWise, you know what I'm saying, speaking about, you know what I'm saying, freedom, justice, and equality, like a few of them. But he has a song that deals with, you know what I'm saying, when our young brothers, you know what I'm saying, got murdered in the street, you know what I'm saying, down in Florida, Tamir and all of them. It's like, these are the awakening moments. Like the knowledge has to come back to the music. And we're talking about reparations and Juneteenth with the individual who puts that in his songs. You know what I'm saying? Who puts that in his platform. And that's the way that we touch the masses. Like, when the knowledge was prevalent in the neighborhood, it wasn't just prevalent with your man, it was on the radio. It was on the radio. Like, we talk about the Supreme Team, you know, Cedar Vaughn and them. And we talk about Rakim and Kane and Justice and King's Son, Lakim Shabazz, Brand Nubians, you know what I'm saying, the Qasim. We talk about all of these, and it was knowledge filled. You know what I'm saying? This is the way that you get a people, because you control the media. When you control the media, you control the mind. You know what I'm saying? And you planting seeds in the mind of the people. You know what I'm saying? So while you planting these seeds, you planting seeds of truth. You know what I'm saying? So you have to always put forth in your platform the knowledge, because that within itself is planting the seed of truth. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Planting the seed of truth. So it's crazy, like we deal with and what we see on a daily basis. Like this week, with two things happen within this very, very week that shows us that we have to fight for our freedom. We have to fight for justice. We have to fight for equality. We have to fight, you know what I'm saying, to keep our bond with each other. Because when they stormed the Capitol, the first individual to be sentenced for storming the Capitol, he received probation, $500 fine, and 40 hours of community service.
Community service.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because she was somebody's grandmother.
And it's crazy. If we did that, you know where we'd be at. We ain't gonna touch that, because we know tyranny, and trying to overthrow the government comes with a penalty of death. Derek Chauvin, he got sentenced to 22 and a half years, right? And we're waving the flag like that's justice. That's never justice. That's never justice. 22 and a half years is never justice when Floyd left a daughter that's still looking for her father. Do you think 22 and a half years from now that she's not going to want to speak on, look for her father?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So it's, and with, you know what I'm saying, Kos, with you being in the community, with, you know what I'm saying, and the things that you do, you know what I mean, how do you see it affecting our youth with the things that are actually really going on today?
They're confused about it because, they know people that caught minor drug charges that did.
Pardon self, Kos, can you speak up a little bit?
Yes, sir. The youth know people who caught minor drug charges that did more time than Chauvin's gonna do. In our communities, the police have returned a lot of people that don't get national media attention. And where's the justice for, my daddy? A minimum 15 years, cats is doing that in the hood, standing on their head.
Right.
More than once.
Right.
One of the cats in my hood, man, he just posted the other day, man, I did 20 years in the feds and showed his house. Look at my house. I just bought a house. I'm a homeowner now. He come out like he never was in it, So our youth are also desensitized. They don't give a damn. They enjoy the movement while it's moving, but as soon as something else happens, attention leaves that and goes to the next thing. And whatever happened, you know what I mean, behind that, like I understand a knowledge degree, then what happened? And what happened is we done moved on. And it's not like we moving on because we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We moved on because we're used to this shit. It happens all the time anyway. And it's nothing new. And when your babies are not traumatized by trauma, then you know you're sick. And our people are sick as hell, and don't even know we sick. So we just get worse until we die.
Yeah,
You know, one of the things that I've talked to a lot of people, and one of the things I found out is that most of our youth have a hard time wanting to hear about our story that traces back. I ain't got time to hear all that old stuff. I ain't got time to hear all that. What about now? Okay, well, if we want to build on the now, I still gonna have to tell you about some of the old so you can understand why now is now. And it's either you get them, you got to talk to them like Allah said, the Father said, you talk to a baby like a baby so the baby can get the best understanding and grow itself up. So when you talking to them, I mean, I don't talk to them like, because I ain't that thug. I ain't that 2000 thug. I can't talk that language. All I can do is still talk to you as a black man who's been where I've been and tell you my story. And if it relates to anything that's qualified within your timeline, then you can gravitate and understand. But a lot of stuff that y'all going through, the youth that they going through, we don't have that issue because we know that there's a part of us that knows how to fight that fight. So the best thing we can do is let them know, listen, take the time and let me show you this, or so you can see it for yourself. Because this is about showing and proving. If I can show and prove you that this here holds weight, then you take this and you take it back to your brothers and sisters here in your now and bring it forth and fight that fight. So now you can understand the Old Testament dropping science in the New. That's all I'm saying. We still got to talk. There's no way that I'm going to allow anything that I see going on to a fellow brother, man, or sister, and I'm taking a photo or video in it. I can't sit there and just video it and not do nothing, especially if I see you got your foot on our necks. I can't do that. I'm going to have to be the one that's going to take that bullet because I'm going to get you off my fam. Whether I know him or not, I know what justice is. And a justice, I see what the equality is not. So I'm going to make sure the equality gets served. And if you got to put me in handcuffs for it, guess what? My knowledge, my word is my bond. I'm going to do it. So I always serve notice. I've said it ever since. If I see wrong, it's wrong. Whether it's us or them, I'm still going to speak upon it because black on black crime to me is still a crime in itself that we have to address first. All the Black Lives Matter movement, that's okay. But we got to control the black on black genocide. If we stop the black on black killing, we ain't got to worry about a Black Lives Matter because the black lives will always be there. The matter will be there. You know what I'm saying? The fear of a black planet is what caused a Black Lives Matter movement. I don't care what nobody say. If they don't do the knowledge to it, we going to have to bring forth. You got to see it. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I'm tired of hearing about seeing, okay, a black man or black woman shot by a white cop. Okay, that's normal, but I'm more pissed off about a black man kills another black man or a black woman, kills a black woman for pitiless nonsense stuff that we look at and blow it all out of proportion when we could have solved that issue. You understand what I'm saying? So we need that love. That love that we have for us is not within the true family. The original people, we got the love, but we got to show it to those who are lost and found. You know what I'm saying? We got to show it to those who are still out there in the wilderness. They got to understand it. So, and not just us, I'm saying we don't need a parliament of gods and nerves just to show and prove. We need a parliament of all the people to come and see why the gods and earths are doing what they're doing and teaching the way they teach. You understand what I'm saying? Just as, and so they want to stigmatize us when it comes to the media. They want to label us a gang affiliation when we ain't never been no gang affiliation. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to us to tell them about that. No, we ain't never been. That universal flag don't say nothing about a gang in anywhere of my lessons. Not where, nowhere. So, if you come to me and say, yo, I see that flag on you, yo, I'm going to break it down to you every 22 points. I'm going to let you know. So, and I ain't just going to tell you, come on the show. Come on over. I tell you about it, show you about it. This is love. This is love. This is who we are. You know what I mean? So, and then this is the platform where we bringing it universal. And I'm gonna be here till I die, till I close my eyes. But my energy is still gonna spread because I don't shut down. You know what I mean? So,
Yo, it's
and
crazy.
that's just what it is, dog.
It's crazy. Like we've been building, and like I said, like we don't want to be the voice of the streets. You know what I mean? That's the problem. Everybody wants to be the voice of the streets. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the voice of the streets. You know what I'm saying? The voice of the streets is not helping us. You know what I'm saying? Let's be the voice of the people, like we always talk about. Be the voice of the people. You know what I mean? Let's be universal in our aspect. And when we build and we speak to people, necessarily all the time, they're not going to be in tune mathematically. Mathematics, you know what I'm saying, not like we are, but they'll get that enlightening moment. They get that enlightening moment. Hopefully, through this radio show today, a lot of people have gotten an enlightening moment about our brother. You know what I'm saying? And a window, you know what I'm saying, has been opened about our show. That this is a Black show, a talk show that's going to address a lot of the things in our neighborhoods, as well as what is going on with our special guests. We have to realize that people are so used to niggerdom and uncivilized behavior because they grew up in an environment of negativity. That's what they're used to. So the love that you speak on, and the love that I speak on, and the love that Kaz rhyme about, you know what I'm saying, and he speaks on and he shows when he's entertaining, you know what I'm saying, working with the babies, is foreign to a lot of people. A lot of people don't know what love really is, you know what I'm saying, or know how to receive it because they've never been in a situation where they can receive it. When you're dealing with negativity all the time, you know what I'm saying, how can you receive a positive note? You don't even recognize it when it come amongst you. A lot of people got knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got knowledge of self, but they use it like a library card. They go in the library, they'll pick a book out. They won't even read the book or bring the book back just to say that they got it. But when you have individuals like Kaz, like yourself, like myself, like other individuals in the community that actually work with the babies, it's different. You know what I mean? And I want to ask Kaz like this question, like, how therapeutic is it for you growing up, you know what I'm saying, in New Rochelle, to go back to New Rochelle and work with the babies? How therapeutic, you know what I'm saying, for you is that?
You know, to come back to Nauru, man, just Westchester in general. You know, the school I'm in right now is not in New Rochelle, right? It's in Elmsford. It's still in Westchester, but when I leave there, I come here.
It's hard to hear you, God.
The school I work in is not in New Rochelle now, it's in Elmsford, it's still Westchester, right? But when I leave there, I come back here, turn on my mobile barbershop, and I go cut hair in the community, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where I get access to the young, you know, mostly in New Rochelle. And the rule is when I get to cut their hair, and they right there next to me, you know, and I get to jewel them up, you know, I get to fill them up with love. I get to let them know that they're great. I get to let them know that they're intelligent. I get to give them congratulations when they graduate. I'm talking about graduating from kindergarten, middle school, high school, college, you know what I'm saying? People introduce their babies to me and ask me to tell them something good, you know what I mean? Because when they were young, I told them something good too when they sat in my chair. I got generations of people now, you know, that I've cut their children, you know what I'm saying, them as children, and soon I'll be cutting their grandchildren, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a beautiful thing. One story I can say to relate to that is, you know, back in the 90s, you know, cutting hair in the barbershop. The sister, you know, I got her son in the chair and he's acting up, right? Now, mind you, his father was one of my OGs, right? He acting up in my chair. You know, I'm giving him jewels to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm about to straighten you out, like on some physical, right? And the sister sitting next to her was like, you know, is Kasim your son's father? She said, no, but that's Kasim. And he knew me since I was little. He knows his father, and he knew him since he was born. He could tell my son anything he want to tell him. If you want to whoop his ass, he could whoop his ass, right? And I was so honored, you know what I'm saying, to have that village raise a child mentality imparted in me, you know what I'm saying, and giving me the power to civilize her baby the same way my old earth and my old dad gave the community the power to civilize me, because they did that. You know what I mean? I had people cave my chest in to get me off the block. Or they throw the football back and forth, and every time they drop the ball, they give me $1 because they knew I just wanted some quarters to go play the video games or to get some cookies or a Snicker bar or something. But we took care of each other. You know what I'm saying? The guards on the block would build with me. They chased me off the block because they knew I was intelligent. They knew I was in the arts. They knew that I had better, in plan for me than them streets. You know what I mean? And they kept me off the streets. So I can only do the same thing because that's how I was raised. So I do my best to get these babies off the street. I've had the privilege to be able to take babies from the police when the police run up on them. And it's like, yo, does he have any guns or drugs on him? Nothing like that. They're like, no. I said, let me take him to his mother. And they call me by name. Kosh, you gonna take him to his mom? Yes, I'm gonna take him to his mother. And then I jack Shorty up and I drag him to the crib. You know what I'm saying? And the cops let me do that more than once. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the type of relationship we're supposed to have in our communities. You know what I mean? Where the elders can step up, you know what I'm saying, and get our babies out of situations that they can't get themselves out of. You know what I mean? Before the justice system see it. We gotta be able to save our babies, man. Otherwise, what the fuck kind of men are we?
Right.
And I'm glad that, I got my son
Yeah.
in the car right now, you know what I'm saying, while we having this conversation, you know what I'm saying, just can hear what we about. He can hear this again, because he hears it from me, you know what I'm saying, but to hear it on a platform like a radio show, to see that we really striving to stay reaching out to our babies, you know what I'm saying, to our youth, to keep them in the right direction, man, keep leading them in the right direction, that's important to me. That means something to me, and back to that therapeutic question that you asked me, Josh Shamel, to be able to give them therapy gives it to me. You understand? I was a therapist in the middle school. I was a counselor for 7 years, and I had children with anger issues. I grew up with anger issues. I would never want to go see nobody's counselor. I wouldn't talk to nobody. You know what I'm saying? But in talking to them, I ended up giving therapy to myself. You know what I mean? To the point where I could turn around to, my colleagues who were therapists, and when I'm having a day, I could now talk to them. You know what I'm saying? And get that shit out of me. So the healing began within me as well. You know what I'm saying? And I was able to grow and get out of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the angry man no more I used to be. And, all praises due to our youth, you know what I'm saying, and the opportunity to get them out of it because it got me out of it.
Right.
One thing I got to say, Josh Mel, one thing I got to add on to what you were saying earlier, though. When you said that, you don't want to be the voice of the street. And I understand that. And but here's where I agree to disagree. No, we ain't got to be the voices of the street, but I feel like it says, in order to know to address the issues at hand, we got to go to the streets and hear what the streets are saying. And so in order for us to have that communication, because I would rather know what's going on with the troubled youth's mind out there in the streets so that I can build with him to make sure that he has an impact or feel like, yo, I got somebody out there who listened to what I said, and that maybe I can call him. If I say, yo, call me when you feel like you get ready to do something that you don't need to do. So me and you can talk, so I can stop you from going to a place you don't need to be. So that's the part of the streets I'm trying to grab and gravitate to our youth. Yo, what's going on with you? How you doing? Why you acting this way? Boom, boom, boom. Let's sit and talk. I'll go buy you a meal. Come on, let's do this. Let's sit down and have a talk. So that way I can find out what's going on, because if he's in them streets, that's the street. You understand what I'm saying? That's the
thing
street.
about it is, the thing about it is our people aren't the street. You know what I'm saying? Our people aren't the street. You know what I'm saying? They are in the streets, but they aren't the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I got it.
You address the people, you know what I mean? You change the dynamics of the streets. You know what I'm saying? When you address the people, you change what goes on in the streets. You know what I'm saying? The streets is going to be the streets, but the change comes from when you change the people that align themselves with the streets. That's just like we always talk about having knowledge of self and how it changed us. It didn't change. It changed us because of the individuals that we was around. It showed us the type of people that we need to be dealing with. or we was around the people that could heal us mentally. You know what I'm saying? Like when Kosh just said, like when you're giving somebody a therapeutic session, at the same time, you're putting that mirror up and you're looking at yourself. You're giving yourself therapy. You know what I'm saying? So you're changing what we say, we reverse the polarity. The polarity have shifted once we're able to address the people. See, nobody's addressing the people. Nobody's addressing the people's needs. People, we're saying that they're in the streets. They're street people. They this. No, they're people. They're people. And we have to deal with them universally and understand the social ills that they're dealing with so we can address it, so we can help heal them. That changes the street aspects. When you address a person as people, as a man, as a woman, take that street label off of them. Address them as a man or woman. And approach them as such. And then when you approach them as such, they start seeing things different. It's just like going from wearing baggy pants or tight jeans to putting on a three-piece suit. You know the difference of the feeling. I put on a suit, I feel like a whole different man than I did when I had them jeans on or those joggers on or those Nikes on. When I put on those Stacey Adams, it's a whole different feeling because you're going to have to look at me in a different light. You know what I'm saying? But I know we got maybe 5 minutes left in the show, and I wanted Kosh to let the people know where they can get his music at. Where can they find Kosh, you know what I'm saying, just to get a jewel or, you know what I'm saying, get a good word or even help with the poetry slams that's coming about. So Kosh, whatever you got going on at this point, how can people contact you to be, you know what I'm saying, to get whatever entity that you have, like your media platforms, your music, barbershops, everything that you got going on?
The easiest way to get at me is KAS_all_day@gmail.com. KAS all day at gmail.com, right? If you want some of the music, Street Poetic and Living Mathematics is on Bandcamp. You can get that all day long. If you want to Return to the God MC, I guess I'll say it now. We getting ready to remaster it and re-release that joint, you know what I'm saying? Because, we took it back from the powers that be, and we're going to drop that again. There's new stuff on the horizon. If you want the album as it is, which is a banger, hit me through the email, you know what I'm saying? And I'll get it to you. It's no problem. As far as poetry go, anything, any updates or what have you, hit me directly at my email address, KASAllDay@gmail.com, because you can reach Kaz all day right there. You know what I mean? I'll put it right on Front Street for the people. You know what I mean?
Yo, that's beautiful. You know what I mean? Hey, when I come to New York, I need to get me a cut, man. Where am I gonna get my cut at, man? Where am I gonna get my cut?
It's a mobile situation, so you let me know where you at. Chances are I'm driving to you.
That's what I'm talking
Take care
about.
of the price of the cut, give me a little love on the gas, and you got that.
I need that velvet rope. You know what I'm saying?
I got that too. I give you the nice shiny Leonard Skinner, God. You know, whatever you need. You know what I'm saying?
No, one last thing. One last question that I didn't get to ask you, and I'm gonna make sure I ask you. Going back towards the beginning of your timeline for the music session, what was one of the most inspirational songs you heard that made you feel like that's it for me? That's it for me right there.
The Message. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. The Message. Melly Mel, the stuff he was talking about, it was not, like, yeah, Shaw, and you don't stop. It wasn't that. It was what was going on in my projects. He talking about pissy elevators, well, pissing on the stage. To me, that translated to pissy elevators. You know what I'm saying? Depressed people, which is what I was seeing all around me. And that opened my eyes to like, yo, this is something real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to listen to the party music no more. You know what I'm saying? I thought Sugar Hill Gang was super cool. They was great, whatever, whatever. You know, but after that, I needed to hear some substance. You know, so when Rakim came out, I was gone. Today, he's still my favorite MC. He always gonna be my favorite MC. You know, that's the God MC. So, you know, when the Gods, you know, the 5% Nation bestowed that title on me, because I ain't choose that for myself. I always got to say that. You know what I mean? I love Rakim. That's the God MC. But when the Gods started calling me that, I put that on my back and I carried that. That's an honor that nobody's really getting. You know what I'm saying? So for that, I carried that. You know what I'm saying? I'm an old school backpack MC anyway. That's in there with my book of rhyme. You know what I'm saying? That's my crown. That's always gonna sit right here and remind me of who I am and what my duty is. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get out there and teach, because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. You know, do I have some street shit? Of course I do.
True indeed.
You know, you'll hear that here and there, but you always gonna hear some mathematics. You always gonna hear some degrees mixed up in there. You always gonna hear some morals. You know what I'm saying? And what the justice is when your movements are able. You're gonna get a lesson out of me. You know what I mean? Because I want you to live. I want you to be happy and prosperous. I need you to be successful in your undertakings. Period.
That's peace. That's
True
peace.
indeed, God. That's peace. Well, yo,
Thank you for having
gods, we are at.
me.
Hey, no. Thank you, my brother, for coming along and dropping that jewel on us. We appreciate you from the heart. You know what I'm saying? And you're welcome to come back anytime, God. Anytime.
Yo, God, like I always tell you, man, I
Say
love
my
you,
name
Lord.
like Candy Man.
You know what I mean? I love you, Lord, man. And this show it means more to me than any other thing that I've done in the last couple of weeks or whatever the case may be, because it's with you. You know what I'm saying? And the relationship that we have. And we always talk about, you know what I'm saying, giving brothers flowers and they just do. Today, I hope that you understood that we were giving you your flowers today. That we was giving you your just due. That you are, you know what I'm saying, the God MC today. My brother, I love you and I appreciate you coming on. You know what I mean? For myself, Josh Amel, KWise, you know what I mean? We got nothing but love for you on Real to Real 360, God. You know what I mean?
Thank you both. You know what I mean? Peace to the
Living mathematics, God, all day.
Yes, sir.
Peace to the gods and earths. This is the God KWise Allah along with our co-host Josh Jamel Allah, and we about to bounce off and get radio rocking out of control up in here. And remember, you heard it first with the God, our special guest Qasim Allah, right here on Real to Real 360 by way of Libation Radio Network. And from the gods and earths, we gone. Peace.
Peace. Yeah.